Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. For today's video, I wanted to talk to you about living in a delusion and what it's like for the narcissist and how these occur. So let's jump in. So when you learn about narcissism, you start to find out how they build this illusion. And in their delusions, they live in this fantasy. And this fantasy is because they traded their true self for the false self. And because they've done that, they live fakery and in a world of lies they have made up. And they don't make any sense if you are far away from it and you see truth for what it really is. But a lot of times they will allure people into their fantasy that they have built to play a role in their movie, their fake movie, while trying to live in reality at the same time. So they may do this through lust. They have different tactics, anything that they can use to allure you in and kind of corrupt you. But they have to do it in its fleshly state. That's why when they come into your life, they put you through the love bomb phase. It brings you into your full ego as well and knocks you out of your spirit man position, meaning you're not going to think from your higher self. You're going to think from your emotional self, which is your ego. So when the narcissist comes into your life, they basically put you in the role of your childhood injuries is what they feed off through your emotional field. And when they do that, what they do, they draw you in slowly, and it's insidious on how they work on you. And they have told you a lie first about themselves. They have told you current lies about what they're doing every day, and then they're telling you lies about what you and them are going to have or do in the future. And all of their lies are based on all manipulations from other people's stories that become their own. And then outside of you and them, they're going to be telling everybody lies about who you truly are and who they truly are. So it kind of gets solidified in everybody else that what all of their flying monkeys and people around them, their assistants, their cohorts, are going to either believe the lie or know what's truly going on, but they work in evil activity. So they're kind of in on it, or they're at the same wavelength because they're doing the same thing to other people. And what truly gets somebody into these types of delusions to begin with, because, anybody could fall trap to these. It's just like this, like if you had, say you had a lot of money and somebody wanted to steal it from you, and they had planned on stealing it from you by this big orchestration of things to snake it out from under you and tell a bunch of lies to get you in trouble, maybe even incarcerated, and for them to walk away some sort of hero with all of your finances, right? Well, let's say that individual has been working on this with other people or whatever for a long, long time, and they have all maybe even made a deal with dark energy together to be all rooted together. When you start to do certain incantations to root yourself to some sort of entity to give you power to perform some sort of weird orchestration in the world and get away with it, a lot of times you need more energies to do that besides yourself. So they'll root all together, and rooted all together like that, it's almost like you can't be separated from them, and they're able to energetically get into your emotional field and into your spiritual realm. So they can basically meddle in your spiritual business and your psychological business because of the way that you rooted yourself into, let's say a coven might root themselves together to a main leader, to an entity, I guess is what I'm getting at. And then they orchestrate this plan to, let's say, snake finances out from under somebody. They get so into it to where it could get to a place and a point to where they have built this whole big sham around this orchestration of what they're doing and what they're maybe telling other people you are. That's a lie, and what they are is a lie as well. It makes them look better and you look worse. Meanwhile, in the 3D here, they're orchestrating all these things to make sure that happens. And then if it doesn't happen, or it starts to go the opposite way, let's say it goes in the direction of truth and justice. So it goes in the orchestration of truth and justice, but then these people have spent so much time involved in this lie, this orchestration, this illusion, and they just can't come out of it. And they become completely delusional. They've been chasing this situation for so long, they just can't get out of it ending. And when you continue to go down that type of a path, it's kind of like the same thing if you had somebody that you were infatuated with, right? And you started to date them and you were infatuated with them. And maybe the infatuation is what got them to break up with you. Because you were so into them, you do a bunch of weird stuff to try to either control them or to control the narrative around them. Or, you know, whenever you grab a hold of somebody too much, whether it be, I'm talking energetically mainly and spiritually, but they even will do it physically. When you put control on somebody like that, because you start to get in your infatuations that you can't live without them, you got to have them and all of that. Those are like orchestrations in illusions and delusions, which will get people sometimes so screwy in the head, they get psychological problems. And so I wanted to go over this real quick because this is kind of what happens with the narcissist. They get into all of these illusions that they have built in and around their community. And it's basically to pump them up to make them look like something super duper. And then they'll build illusions around everybody else in their life to make them lower class or subservient to them. And it could all be a lie. It usually and probably is. It is, but they believe it. They start to talk on it so much that they talk themselves into this illusion to where they literally believe their own delusions. And when those delusions start to fractionate, right, because the truth is around as well. So the truth is going to be the only thing to set you free, right? So other people may know this that are stuck in this illusion, whether they know it or not. And when they start to orchestrate anything outside of the illusion, then the narcissist would have to go through power and control and get that ironed out, straighten that out somehow so that it can stay in the illusion. And they energetically put so much time and thought into it that they just can't come from it anymore. It's like they're stuck in it. It's almost like a spiritual prison. And this is kind of what the Lord will do to some people. Some people you'll say, well, they don't get their negative reaping or something like that. But you got to understand, God doesn't always just have people get repercussions for their negative reaping in the physical realm, in the 3D. I mean, they will. You will see it. You will see it in the 3D. Eventually, it will all come to terms, and you'll see it in the 3D. But if you don't, you got to know that they're in a spiritual prison. They're locked up in a cycle in their head that's spinning around to nowhere. And it's just an illusion built on all the delusions. I mean, it's an illusion that has caused them to become delusional. And they spend so much time in it, it's almost like they could have regrets and all kinds of hard feelings about it, but they still can't stop it because they put too much into it. It just can't, it can't be seen any other way from them because they wouldn't be able to live like that. It's kind of like taking a rich man and he makes a stupid decision and loses all of his money. That rich man, if that was his whole life and everything was around that money and he did something stupid to lose it all, that could be something to put somebody in some sort of delusion if they can't come from that. Like, let's say now they're knocked down to lower middle class or a middle class lifestyle. They can't have it. They can't handle it. They have to continually try to live this rich lifestyle. They don't now have the money. So how do you do that? I mean, the only way to do it then is to do it in your head, or to get into some sort of corruption where you can take it out from somebody else. But, you know, the hard-working individual that lost it all would be the one to put the hard work in and to get back where they were, if that was what was something that they had to do. But in the narcissist, they don't do that. They build illusions, and they're so thick, it becomes delusional. It makes them completely delusional, and it makes them believe their own delusions. And then they just can't live outside from that fantasy. And if let's say it falls apart and collapses, that's how a collapse occurs. It's when people start to see through them and it doesn't work anymore, and then people get tired of it and they start to clap back with them. When they clap back with them, then it's obvious that the narcissist doesn't have enough supply source around them to keep this sham alive. Or if people have seen through it enough, they can't even rebuild another sham because people have seen it enough people. The only thing they can do is walk around a lie and be a sham, or they'll have to move and be that sham again. That's where they most definitely get defeated. And if they didn't know they had issues before, they definitely know they have issues then. But that's something where if you're a primary source and you're a chosen generational curse breaker and you allude to everybody that this is what this individual is doing over time because they won't leave you alone, and everybody gets to finding out about it in their town they live in, then that's just something they just can't live without, and it makes them a failure at their own mess. So the narcissist always thinks they're winning, but when this type of stuff occurs, they may move to a different state or city and start over, but they do know they're a lie. These are types of things that narcissists will go through. And that's if they can move. Sometimes they can't move because they're stuck through legal issues or something. But I just wanted to go over that real quick because that's kind of how illusions start and how they begin to become the whole world of what this individual believes. It could be based on finances or some luck or some image that they built, but it's built on a lie because they are a lie, truly. So thank you for watching. If you can give me a like, subscription, and a thumbs up. Love you all. Till next time. Soldier, peace, we out.